If you're anything like me, you might find the first few months of each year routinely the hardest. The bugs and colds and worse pulling us down, the grey skies making everything seem dull, leafless trees feeling like ecological cemeteries with their absence of colour and life. I know that I definitely notice my mood darken, my health drop. But at the same time, I continue to practice a faith whose central character preaches and practices healing, telling many that their faith has made them well. So, I'm going to spend the next few weeks exploring what within the Christian faith practice here at Bristol Cathedral might help support emotional well-being, from the cultural elements through to the religious and spiritual practices which have been at the heart of this place for nearly a millennium. Today, I want to discover whether a specific place or its features can help us with our well-being, allowing us to dwell in the present moment rather than being distracted by memories or future anxieties.
It's interesting, isn't it? Mindfulness, it's very much a buzzword, but it became very popular, 10 years ago, and everyone was talking about it. But I think we seem to forget where it came from, which came from the old monks in the Far East, and it was all about kindness and compassion and love, which of course comes from Christ, the Gospels. I mean, it's everywhere. But when we are finding peace in ourselves, which is through stilling, calming, quiet in places, we then, if we're at peace with ourselves, we can peace with others and therefore with God. It's just literally being in the present. That's what mindful is, being present and conscious of ourselves and where we are and what place we're in. So therefore, a sacred place like the cathedral, which has had centuries of prayer, it seems to exude that feeling of being and just stopping and coming in and finding a peaceful space. Because it's very easy to come in, but actually going inside, which is quite difficult to start with, but once you do, you find a space where you can just be, and you find a God inside, that powerful, powerful place where you know you are loved and therefore you're capable of loving.
Centuries ago, before the Church of England split from the Roman Catholic Church, the Augustinian canons who ate, drank, slept and prayed here would have been encouraged to be still and silent, and to find a way to ground themselves in their religious practice, something we try to emulate still today.
Well, for me it's always the Eucharist, because I just love, for me it's the heart of the Christian gospel, is sharing a meal together, and it started with sharing supper with your friends and the Eucharist, and the lovely words, the liturgy of the Eucharist. For me, it gives me it refuels my spiritual need of that core. That's just everything. Yeah, you are coming together, aren't you, to share in that cup, in that chalice. That if you're mindful in yourself, as I said, then you're centering prayer, centering Eucharist, centering whatever it is. Then you're centered, you're able to be out to others and the wider community, and therefore the world, because you show all that kindness, compassion, all the emotion that is so necessary. And you pick that up when you're together. It's the collective energy of being in that space which makes it sacred and fulfilling. You want to fulfill your cup, don't you? And it's all about the chalice and the cup.
I loved what Larrie said about the Eucharist, the service of Holy Communion, being a space to become centred, but also to become open to the world through this coming together. But as a priest, I also know that there are people who struggle to connect to these services. So I asked whether she thought sacred spaces are universal.
I think it's how you perceive it. I think it's personal. I went to the Vatican many years ago and I just didn't like it at all. I just felt uncomfortable and I didn't know why. Because I was, I was expecting, the Vatican, this is going to be amazing. But I didn't. I found it quite cold and unwelcoming. Some places you go to and you feel it's just right for you because it's personal. Some people you meet, you just think, you don't know anything about them and you just know you like them. Or you don't. And you don't know why. It's quite personal, I think.
I really enjoyed my conversation with Larrie and really enjoyed listening to her talk about how this place helps her to focus in the present and be mindful, and also about how it can help her connect and be mindful as part of a corporate group. Perhaps you want to come down here too and enjoy this space for yourself. Coming down, and we're open every day of the week, and also maybe coming for services, which you can find the information about on our website, the details of which are on the bottom of this page now.